Arrive in Istanbul, airport, crypto ads abound. Hungry? Uber called, taxi arrives. Rugged? Driver's driving, he's also trading crypto. Everyone's trading crypto. Time to pay, what the fuck? Rugged again. Dinner served, it's good. No, it's the best. Bill comes. PayPal? No, that's banned. You pay with crypto. Time for dessert. Rugged again. Need cash? Hunt for ATMs. Yep, also crypto. Here, and a bigger one here. This is Turkey. You're welcome here, and so is crypto. At the crossroads of history and innovation stands Istanbul, a city that's as much a museum of empires as it is a canvas for the future of crypto. Because among the city's ancient monuments, minarets and bazaars, there's a modern narrative emerging here. Turkey's no longer just a part of the crypto adoption movement, it's leading the charge. Where traders once haggled in ancient markets like these, now millions of Turks are becoming part of a new kind of market, a digital one. Because here, where over half of the population now reportedly owns crypto, with an estimated 8 million actively investing, Turkey's adoption of digital assets isn't a quiet affair. It's a loud, bold statement from a country facing near 60% inflation and of people seeking stability in the crypto market. Although widely reported, the 52% figure from KuCoin's study has been challenged for only surveying 550 crypto investors. Binance, for instance, reports the figure is more likely 40%, but they only surveyed 606 people. Yet, regardless of the exact figures, the fact that crypto adoption is so high makes Turkey a point of interest for anyone betting on global adoption down the line. For many here, the shift to crypto represents a longing for security and autonomy from economic constraints, which we'll explore shortly. 58% of crypto investors say they're seeking long-term wealth, and 37% see it as a store of value, while the high volumes of trading speak to a generation becoming increasingly intertwined with the digital economy. But there's another side to this story which we're here to uncover today. Because even though Turkey ranks 4th by transaction volume and 12th on the global crypto adoption index, when it comes to key factors like tax friendliness, the regulatory environment, and economic factors, Turkey's actually last. As Turkey navigates through its economic and geopolitical challenges, and given the recent policy shifts aimed at combating runaway inflation, we're here to explore this complex crypto adoption story and the nation's search for a balance in volatile economic landscapes. So are we seeing a nationwide love affair with innovation and blockchain here? Or is this crypto craze simply a fad, a temporary escape from the struggling economy? Let's start with some context. Turkey sits in a vital geopolitical location straddling both Europe and Asia. Socioeconomically, it's navigating the dichotomy between a traditional economy and a blossoming digital revolution across various industries. Today, with a population higher than Germany's and the 17th largest economy in the world, modern-day Turkey is no stranger to the global stage. Yet beyond its G20 membership and a growing economy, Turkey also grapples with significant headwinds. Soaring inflation, drastic devaluation of the lira, growing debts, natural disasters like the recent earthquakes, and the rising cost of living due to global energy prices. These all contribute to the current reality on the ground, which some have argued could risk reversing the significant poverty reduction they've achieved in recent years. So what drives this impressive crypto adoption that we see in Turkey?
Turkey is a bellwether for adoption of blockchains across the globe. It's an exciting country, it's a tech-savvy country, and it has an ethos of quickly adopting all new technologies. Also, it has a history of economic instability that causes people to look elsewhere for different kinds of values, different kinds of assets. So, fantastic place, and the number of people in Turkey who are crypto-savvy is quite large. Typically, Turkish folks constitute a huge percentage of the users at big exchanges. So a very vibrant community here.
Istanbul is really one of the top markets for stablecoins in the whole world. There's a lot of Tether users, there's a lot of crypto enthusiasm, partly driven by the inflation experienced by regular people here, which leads them to stablecoins. But I think also just there's like a lot of innovation, a lot of potential in the builders and the community here, which is super exciting and really cool to experience.
The top reason I think is economical. When the currency is volatile, crypto gives them an ability to sort of access assets that are not necessarily available to them through their banks. And Turkish people are brave, right? They will try things out. It's a very young sort of population in Turkey, which is a lot more tech savvy in general. They would like to tinker with new things. People of Turkey are a lot more resilient to problems or resilient to things that don't go well all the time, which makes them, again, which helps them adopt this technology and try these things out.
Turkey is just obviously one of the places where there's just been a huge amount of grassroots interest in and adoption of crypto for a long time. And I mean, it's obvious from the statistics, it's obvious from just like whenever I would make tweets, I would always see like a huge number of responses in Turkish. And like I'd always just click the translate button and be really curious about what kinds of things they have to say. The use case is obvious, right? I mean, I remember the first time I passed through the Istanbul airport back in 2013, and like the rate was 3.5, and now it's 28. And when you're living through that, the value of just having some alternative thing to save money and just becomes incredibly obvious.
Turkey ranks 4th by trading volume and 12th on the overall crypto adoption index. However, when it comes to regulatory conditions, tax friendliness, and economic factors, it's actually last. So assuming a scenario where the Turkish economy recovers rapidly, the lira stabilizes, do you think crypto adoption goes up in Turkey or down?
Very interesting question. I think one of the top reasons as to why the crypto adoption is so high is because of the economical sort of lower rankings lead to higher rankings in adoption on other financial assets, if you will, right? So if the economy would drastically recover and people overnight become much richer overall, adoption and interest probably would come down a little bit, not up. That's my view. You can sort of think about US where the per capita income is higher, crypto adoption is lower, right? So I think it's an inverse relationship between the two. But still, I think the advantage in Turkey is population is very tech savvy. They would like to tinker with new things. They like social media. The TV shows, the way information percolates is a lot better. So it would come down less than any other country. That's kind of my personal opinion.
I think we started seeing the onboard process is already happening. So after this point, if the inflation goes to zero, it won't affect the crypto adoption. And hopefully it won't affect the crypto adoption because the high inflation can result in more users in crypto, but this doesn't mean that after the inflation will get lower, people will leave the crypto and go back to Turkish lira. It is not something like that because on blockchains, we have DeFi, we have freedom, we have privacy, we have everything that we need to achieve as a human. But in centralized finance, we don't have that.
To begin with, I don't think macroeconomic conditions of Turkey, they were not the leading factors of crypto adoption. One of the leading adoption reasons was the overall global economic volatility, where investors everywhere, around the world, they're looking for high-yield investment products. Even if the economy turns positively, I think that's only going to make it better because that will give people more disposable income to spend and to make investments in the crypto space with potentially higher yields than any other asset classes. The economy improving, I'm 100% sure that that's going to have a positive impact for the crypto space.
So I used to work at Cornell University with a fairly large number of theoreticians. And one of them is a logician. And so whenever somebody posed a question like this, he would ponder, he'd slow down, and then he would say, false implies anything. In logic, if you make a false assumption, you can make any kind of deduction that comes afterwards. So I think here the big assumption is the Turkish lira situation. And so, assuming that the Turkish lira stabilizes, I see nothing but good times ahead for blockchains. And conversely, personally, I don't know that the Turkish lira can stabilize in the short term. The macroeconomic conditions around the globe make it hard for any emerging country's local denomination to have stability. It's really hard. Look at South America. They're having a tough time too, and there are fundamental reasons for why it's so hard for them. And it's no different in Turkey. So I don't quite see the entire world being a stable situation for a while to come. So I think, and in that case, I see a lot of excitement, even more excitement for blockchains in that universe.
2 in every 5 citizens has at least one digital asset in the country currently. That makes 40% adoption rate. This is huge. And when you look back, for instance, 3 years ago, it was only 16%. So the adoption rates in the last 3 years have more than doubled. This is huge, and more importantly, this is progressing. Also, another report, maybe from Chain Analysis, I guess, it states that in terms of estimated transaction volumes globally, Türkiye is the 4th largest market in the world and ahead of many other large economies. So with all those in mind, I think it is not surprising for us to see, such a high level of adoption rates in the country.
Given that Turkey now reportedly has the highest levels of crypto adoption, the estimates range from, I think, 25 to 52% of people owning crypto, how critical do you think Turkey is as a hub for crypto adoption?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's absolutely critical. I think what's interesting about Turkey, it kind of mirrors some things that I saw in Argentina, which is that there is this combination of what is a dysfunctional environment in some ways, but with people who are very talented and who are both just very sophisticated in figuring out ways that to do the things that they need to do to economically survive for themselves and their families, and to actually build things that go further from there.
How do you see the Turkish crypto scene differing from the rest of the world?
Word of mouth is a lot more powerful in Turkey, right? If a Turkish person comes out, tries a loan protocol, they will tell a lot more people, in my opinion, about how that worked, if it worked well for them or if it didn't work well for them, which creates a better network effect, I think, within the population. For example, I actually live in the US. I have almost 0 friends who talk to me about good things that they found, versus when I come to Turkey, my friend will be like, dude, did you see this? It's amazing, you should give it a try. Same thing with, it's just the culture is a lot more welcoming. Turkish culture is known for its hospitality, right? Which sort of translates to information flow between people as well. So in that sense, I think it's one of the more fast-growing sort of communities, if you will.
A lot of the people equate blockchain to cryptocurrency. They don't look at the blockchain as the technology that enables cryptocurrency. It's just one of the possible things that can be done with it.
When I step out of the plane, I want to take a picture of the Turkish airport. I try to go take a look into the airfield, and there's a big BTC Turk. I think that's the name. I think that's a thing that I wouldn't expect to see anywhere. I think especially in the US, most crypto advertisement has been gone. And then I walked out, I see the DEF Connect advertisement right away. So I feel that there's a very strong crypto community here in Turkey.
It's really amazing Turkish people. They adopt things very quickly. And the reason is we are a little bit lazy. And laziness especially, it's a great let's call conduit to innovation. So sometimes they say in companies, hire lazy people because they find innovative way to make things so much more efficient, right? And US is much more regulated. They look at their government to protect the common user. And Turkish people is a little more adventurous. And they are like, okay, I know it could be risky, but I'm going to take a chance. So there's that difference as well.
So here is one important thing that prevents people from connecting with the community outside. Some of them have language barriers. Okay, not everybody speaks English fluently. That's one problem. But most importantly, there's the visa issue. So everyone can come in. We are very friendly, but not everyone can attend conferences worldwide. Okay, so we have government officers who have these special passports, and their children can travel without any limitations. It turns out the best developers we have are children of teachers or like other government officers. So it's important that you connect with the community. So after this pandemic, now we are back to this physical world where you have to meet people, where you have to talk to them, learn, and then interact. So that's missing.
I think the Turkish crypto scene is quite grassroots in the sense that it's mainly driven by the university clubs. And also the community is quite engaged. Like also we have seen this throughout the DevConnect proposal process. Like the Turkish community have come and so together, and they were like almost harassing people to bring the DevConnect to Istanbul. So like when we want something, I think everyone gets together and really brings it home.
I'm also founder of IT Blockchain, which is the first university blockchain club in Turkey. After the success and the growth of IT Blockchain, we saw lots of different blockchain clubs from different universities. Blockchain clubs are the definitely source of wonderkids, grassroots, and many brilliant minds. New blockchain clubs will bring new people inside the ecosystem, and probably they will become builders in the future. So those new builders might hire some students from the blockchain clubs, and it will be a avalanche effect.
There are so much prejudice about crypto in Turkey, and that's what we do in IT Blockchain. We break that prejudice. We teach about everything you can do in crypto. The main part, they get stuck in crypto. They just think there are two options: become a developer or trade scam coins. That's not the option. So there are a lot of things you can do. You can be a content creator, you can be a researcher, you can be a designer, a lot of things.
From here on the ground, Turkey's affair with cryptocurrency looks more like a full-blown romance. Because much like Argentina, it's not just the elite that are turning to Bitcoin and Ethereum as a financial sanctuary. People from all classes are. This week, Turkey becomes the focal point of global crypto dialogue as Istanbul hosts a wild convergence of blockchain events. Binance Blockchain Week, DevConnect, ETH Global Istanbul, the Staking Summit, and many, many more. So let's hear from the community what they make of it.
So we've always had this dream of converting Istanbul into like some sort of hub for cryptocurrencies and blockchains, and that has certain reasons. First of all, the Byzantine generals were here, so that has some historic reference to it. But basically, it's very easy to access. So you can just fly here in like 5-6 hours, no matter where you are, whether in US or like Asia or like Middle East. And then we usually don't ask people for visas. Like the worst one is you just pay some money and just get it at the airport, which is good. And I think Turkey is very friendly. So we have people from Russia and Ukraine attending conferences here, and everybody is greeted with a welcome, and then everybody is friendly. So we don't judge people, and then it's a very good place to get together. Food is good. There are cats. So those are like the bonuses. It's relatively comfortable, not much crime here. And we don't have homicides. We have scams here in Istanbul. So we have rug pulls, so to say. So the cab driver will take you like on a journey, like charge you more, or like the shop owner might try something. But these are like relatively harmless crimes. So you relatively feel safe here, which is good. And as I said, you can very easily come in. It's relatively cheap to fly here. You eat good food, and you just like move on and go to the next conference.
I mean, Istanbul is perfectly located at the sort of middle point between Asia and Europe. It makes it more accessible for a lot more people from the globe to arrive, right? It's a big city, it's a crucible of different cultures, different peoples, different beliefs. So in that sense, I think Istanbul is perfectly placed, Turkey is perfectly placed.
So the importance is actually relies between the connection of the local community, local builders with the global ones. because we were kind of feeling that, yes, we are so crowded in crypto as a Turkish community. Yes, we are trying to build stuff, but we are kind of separated from the global community. Maybe few of us can have network with them, can attend to global events, but you know that for Turkish people, getting visas is really hard. For Europe, for US, everything is a barrier. So having all of them here is actually made us realize that if we can keep these bridges with the global community, we can build better products, we can work with them in a better way, collaborate together, and they actually saw that there's a real community here. That's also important too. Every project I talk is mentioning that after DevConnect, they will give more attention to Turkish community, they will organize meetups, etc. So it's possible that we see different paradigm for the Turkey in the global ecosystem.
As Turkey embraces cryptocurrency amidst economic upheaval, it stands in stark contrast to other leaders in the crypto adoption index. The country's seen a surge in public adoption and an enthusiastic embrace of crypto infrastructure, with a huge scene of centralized exchanges, but fewer DeFi protocols and local projects. So what are the hard facts of it all, and why so much centralized exchange activity?
Yeah, centralized exchanges provide, I think, quite easy UX and really understandable, similar to the banking. So they are most of the users use centralized exchanges. And as I said, like the USDT and stablecoins are also really used for storage, like for escaping inflation, and also for settlement between international trade.
What I notice is that people are using centralized exchanges, but they don't know what actually centralized exchanges propose to them. They don't know self-custody, they don't know what it means to own your own money. So in the last maybe 2 years, more people are coming to self-custody space. They are getting their money into some wallet accounts, but it's very limited. I believe that out of that 10 million, maybe 5% of them just using the wallets. But I know that it's really scary for them to use blockchain because they are not educated for that. They are just trading crypto just like, trading stocks at the, BIST in Turkey. So we need to educate them more to onboard them the real blockchain ecosystem. So that's the main thing. Also, you know that there is no regulation in Turkey. So people are really afraid of getting scammed by the project, getting lost in the rabbit hole of the DeFi, etc. So probably that's why centralized exchanges, especially big ones, are more trustable for them. Maybe after we have some regulation, people can more involve in the DeFi ecosystem.
Turkish people generally, again, have a prejudice about investing because in Turkey, they tell you, are you playing in exchange, in stock market? It's a game for them. They ask you if you are playing. It's not a game, it's a real thing, it's a financial investment. So it's in the cultural cause, I guess. Also, they don't know what they're investing in. So the language barrier, the lack of Turkish contents.
Actually, they start with first local exchange. After that, they're becoming a global exchange user. And after that, they're becoming a wallet owner, wallet user. Like, they're trying to focus on the DeFi space also. DeFi is a trending topic in Turkish crypto ecosystem also. So I know that this from the MetaMask internet traffic analysis. Turkey is top 5, maybe sometime top 3 country from the global ranking of the MetaMask official site's traffic analysis.
So you might wonder, what's holding back wider crypto adoption in Turkey? Well, from the folks we've talked to, the main hurdle seems to be the lack of clear regulations and solid legal frameworks, the kind that countries like Singapore have in place. The techies and entrepreneurs we chatted with believe that if the government backed this lively and expanding sector, fewer Turks would go abroad for jobs, more would start businesses right here, and all that buzz would draw in international investments. As for the outright ban on using crypto for payments, it looks like it's not really being enforced, leading to a whole bunch of grey market shenanigans. The unfortunate outcome is that Turkey's found itself on the FATF's grey list, along with countries like Yemen, Syria, and Barbados. People here are crossing their fingers for new laws that'll keep disasters like the FTX and Thodex meltdowns from ever happening again, hopefully setting the stage for crypto to really take off and for new and exciting applications to emerge. So what does the future of legislation look like?
We have a regulation, an executive order by the Central Bank of Turkey that prevents payments to be made with cryptocurrencies. And you cannot create businesses around this. This severely restricts what you can do with that. One big agenda was always regulating cryptocurrency exchanges here in Turkey. So we attempted that about like 2 years ago, but then lots of things came up. So we were not very comfortable with the proposed regulation. The community reacted. So we visited the parliament, tried to tell them like what's wrong, what's right, how do we expect it, etc. And now these days we are looking for a newer version to appear. Our Minister of Finance recently made an announcement that Turkey is right now in the grey list of FATF. For those who don't know about it, FATF regularly publishes a list where certain countries have a higher risk of like money laundering, so the practices are not there. So they update a list, and then there are 40 items. Turkey complies with 39 of them, but one is missing, which is, they call it like newer technologies, something like that, which actually means crypto. Here is the thing, so if you regulate crypto here in Turkey, this also brings in broker-dealers, banks, all these big financial institutions to crypto. Now they are very savvy. They want to be part of this, but they are not allowed to touch crypto. So anybody regulated by the government right now cannot deal with crypto, but any company who is in crypto can do so. All you need is just some capital, like a basic company, customers, and a bank account. You can just run a crypto exchange here in Turkey. Whenever a country is in a gray list, like big funds, like corporate funds, cannot invest in regular industry companies. And that's a big hurdle. So that has to be removed. For some years, we didn't mind. Okay, so we were not very worried about this. But now we have a shift in our economic theory. How the Ministry of Finance and the central bank handles economy here in Turkey. Now they want to go back to a more orthodox, regular view of handling economy, and it's critical that we have foreign investments coming in. Turkey is the 20th largest economy in the world, and roughly the total volume of crypto is the GDP of Turkey. Okay, so it's significant, but the entire thing is comparable to the economy of Turkey. And then if you look at what's going on, it's a small fraction. So it's more important to have a healthy, legitimate economy here in Turkey rather than having crypto.
Regulation is just part of standardizing some of these aspects that bring people on, and it's going to create the real sort of on-ramp of user adoption, in my opinion. The other piece that matters the most is, unless regulation happens, regulated institutions, regulated businesses cannot come in and provide services, right? I may get slaughtered for saying this, but think about who provides most liquidity into the traditional financial system. It's the asset managers, it's the banks, it's the market makers, and every single one of those entities are already heavily regulated. And unless there is a clear rule book for them to come in and participate, that capital, that liquidity is locked out, right? For this ecosystem to grow, for it to become more accessible to people, we have to have some rules and regulations in place. And Turkey, again, because the population is interested in it, I think Turkey is pushing forward in that much better than some other countries.
In Turkey, we can't use Apple Pay, PayPal, or some global fintech solution. So it's actually really a barrier for us. So while we are not using them, if we get regulation and we can use crypto for payment, for global transactions, etc., it can really make people's lives easier.
Currently, it is a bit complicated to explain, but we are, I think, in a good shape right now. Although currently still we don't have crypto law and licensing regime, we are partly regulated. Local FIU, MASAK, is the supervisory body for crypto exchanges in Turkey, like all the other financial institutions. In terms of AML, KYC processes, they are the regulator of the industry. And I think it is the fact since May 2021. I think both the regulators and the exchange are in a good position compared to 2 or 3 years ago right now. And also we know that because it is officially announced that in the following year, 2024, we will be having our crypto law and regulation. There will be licensing regime after that. All the operating exchanges have to be applying for this license. They will have to get the license, and then it will be licensing regime. So after that, we want to be, operating in the country with a licensed entity.
You mentioned you've been involved, you've had a hands-on involvement, let's say, in lobbying for better regulation.
Yes.
Can you talk about that process and maybe some of the specifics of what type of regulation is most urgently needed?
Okay, so we had one case where one cryptocurrency exchange was hacked. Okay, I think for about like $4 or $5 million. They did not announce it. Okay, and then this became a problem for them. They thought they could just fix it by offering more services, and they did some crazy moves like shorting the Dogecoin. It's not advised, you wouldn't want to do that. And now the gap was much larger, and they realized they cannot fix it. So the CEO left off, okay, and then he took customer funds. A story similar to FTX. And this was very negatively perceived by the Turkish community, okay, so the public. And you might have heard they received huge penalties, like hundreds of years of imprisonment. Now the government said, okay, I have to act and I have to regulate cryptocurrency exchanges. And now other cryptocurrency exchanges tried to help them with the process. And the attempt to regulate cryptocurrency exchanges became a regulation for crypto investors with the help of crypto exchanges. So we realized, why do you regulate us? We are not the people who should be controlled. The exchanges should be controlled, their practices. We have a very good gaming industry. So if they're going to build Web3 games and if they're going to issue tokens, that should be regulated. It should not be stopped. It's a way of exporting digital goods. So it's actually beneficial. Or, as I said, real-world assets. Now we are talking about it like very actively. It's very practical. They also said like, yeah, it sounds good. So the SEC equivalent could organize this, and this could be very beneficial to the industry. And they said, okay, let's stop. So let's understand this in a better way. And so we tried to tell them about our concerns. We tried to educate them as best as we could. We even visited religious institutions who tried to understand, is it like, can this be conforming to our religion? Or is it like a form of gambling? Or is it allowed? So even they were interested in hearing more about this. So in the end, we are expecting a better regulation these days. In the end, banks, for example, will be eligible to custody cryptocurrencies. You'll deposit 1 Bitcoin and you'll receive 1 Bitcoin back, which is good. And as I said, now we have only individual investors who are investing in cryptocurrencies. Now it will be regulated. You'll be able to inherit crypto from your parents, or it will be subject to all kinds of laws, like in a divorce, it will be an asset that will be considered. Companies will have that. And then now you can use it as a collateral for other investments. It has all these different implications, and it's not just regulating cryptocurrency exchanges. That's why it's taking more and more. Turkey wants to be compliant with the rest of the world. And so we are expecting a relatively acceptable, positive regulation to come up early next year.
Zooming out for a second, the North American crypto market is driven largely by institutional activity, with a whopping 77% of transaction volume coming from transfers of over $1 million. Here in Turkey, though, we're investigating grassroots adoption of crypto. So how are the Turks interacting with cryptocurrencies on a day-to-day basis?
Definitely trading, right? Turkish people would like to have a stake in the things they believe in. Like, I'll give you a perfect example for Turkey, right? Soccer is the second most popular thing after religion, I would say, in Turkey, right? And people truly love the soccer teams they support, right? The big teams and the local teams as well, right? These teams issuing a piece, something like a token, immediately generate a positive sentiment from the people. They want to own a piece of the thing that they support, and that's a good example, right? Just owning a piece of something you love, no monetary gain, if it gives you benefits, awesome, is one thing.
You can find lots of people who have heard stable coins. And one major reason is the Turkish lira is a depreciating currency. So we have a very high inflation rate, not just this year. So over the last 10, 20 years, we always fought with high inflation. So people are used to converting their income to either the gold bars or the US dollar, the euro, they buy houses. They have to immediately get out of this day-to-day currency. And now USDT is a very good, viable option for them. Tether is a faster dollar. You can buy it at night, you can buy it during the holidays, and you can just like send it back and forth between your wallets, and you can do something.
Turkey is a great testing ground for the hypothesis of crypto working, especially from store value, payment, all these different aspects, given just their native currency, lira, has seen some pretty significant inflation in the past few years.
Right, I think the Americans, or the West, or the mainstream crypto, whatever you want to call it, focus on a lot of novel applications that are not necessarily the most practical, right? They're trying to innovate in directions of, I think some people call them like tech circle jerking, like, research, right? Things where you would only think about once your fundamentals have been achieved, right? Your Maslow's hierarchy of needs are, are fulfilled, right? And then you're looking for something greater. Whereas I think the Turkish community brings a different perspective where how do you actually practically use crypto? Because they do use it, day to day or, in their life such that, I'm talking about mostly like payments. How do you be good UI, UX, good, fast, cheap, bringing crypto back to where, it was started and what it was for with sovereign money.
Crypto projects are very much failing Turkish community for now because many are focused on the abstracted narratives about infra and stuff. Turkish users actually want to be users, right? So people are saying, oh, but they're gambling a lot with this, and like other nations could do that. But like, yeah, they need to kind of like, that's the point. That's where they see the biggest adoption, so focus on it.
You know about the earthquake this year, right? After the earthquake, there were several approaches about crypto donations. There was Turkey Relief DAO. Also, my friends started an initiative with Connex and Optimism. They created a bridge for donations. And after that, Turkish community pushed the government and civil organizations to open a wallet for donations. And we achieved it. Like, we collected more than $4 million, I guess, yeah. It's really important.
And this was international donations of cryptocurrency?
In 2 days.
In 2 days?
Yeah.
Wow, so crypto essentially helped people alleviate some of the pain of a natural disaster like an earthquake.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, we have physical shops here in Istanbul where you can just convert cryptocurrencies into cash, like the dollars, which is, I guess, unusual for most countries.
I'm here in Taksim, which is smack bang in the city center of Istanbul. And as you may already know, crypto payments are technically banned in this country, but the Turks have found a rather clever way around that issue. Here, I can send them a minimum of $50 using the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Tron networks. I can go through a rather rudimentary KYC process, and regardless of who I am and where I made my money, I can send them my cryptocurrencies, and they will give me cash, minus, of course, the network fees and the commissions that they charge. Now, the man assures me that there's technically no upper limit to how much cash I can withdraw, but of course they won't disclose the amount of cash that they hold in the store at this physical location. Now, what's also interesting is that this isn't something that only happens in big cities. The man tells me at least 4 or 5 cities will have stores like this. Also, it's Sunday evening, it's almost 8 p.m. and this store is about to close. But people are using the service. We saw one gentleman come in and send the minimum of $50. He took his cash and he went out. Clearly, Turkish people want to use cryptocurrencies for payments. They're not allowed to, so they need these services to actually do that. We've heard about Turkey's history, its geographical significance, its adoption journey, and the need for clear regulation. So what are the emerging trends which we should watch out for as we move towards the new year and hopefully into a bull market? And how might Turkey's unique position influence these developments?
There are 10 million people in Turkey interested in crypto. There are several socioeconomic reasons for that, but Turkish people are getting into more building instead of being a consumer. We are seeing lots of blockchain clubs emerge in the last 2 to 3 years, and they are hacking here, they are hacked over parties, other events. So there are more startups evolving in Turkey. So I believe that instead of being just a consumer, we are transforming into being a builder community.
So far, the last couple years, the crypto was only like gambling, speculative, but it has been changing by the couple of examples like Chainway, like Clave. Like we are the first generation of infrastructure builders coming out of Turkey.
But much more importantly, from my perspective, is the sheer number of people who want to develop applications in Turkey. The dev community in Turkey is burgeoning. They are growing, and Turks always were going into. They love going into tech. They love going into computer science, electrical engineering, but computer science also. But they usually were taking a path that was better trodden elsewhere. They were going into computer gaming because there had been some Turkish companies that had IPO'd from that perspective. But now that they're seeing that there is a future in blockchain, I'm seeing a huge number of young, energetic people from this country going into blockchains.
We have this thing called the medium duration plan. Okay, and then there's a yearly plan issued by the presidency. So they explicitly indicate that virtual assets will be delivered on blockchains, okay, which indicates all kinds of things like bonds, and then even like real estate, maybe some sort of commodities. So for example, there's a project about food items here in Turkey, like wheat, barley, hazelnut, whatever. So these projects are popping up, and the regulator, the SEC equivalent, sees this as like very important, and then they will regulate it most likely. And then the banking industry, the broker dealers, they will be part of this change. I think that's very important because they realize blockchain is a very good technology to keep track of these things, ownership, and they can issue these tokens on a blockchain. They can keep track of it, they can tax it, do whatever they want, and it will be fast, it will be transparent, and it will enable them to not get local investors to be interested in tokenization. Also, international investors might be more interested in buying these things because they can just follow. Is it wash trading? Who owns these things? Are these real people? Does this asset hold real value? They can measure it. Everything is transparent on the blockchain. I think this will change a lot of stuff in Turkey.
Blockchain has a lot more potential than just a cryptocurrency because it has the potential to democratizing a lot of the different aspects of our social life, right? So I think probably we will get there, but currently it's not that visible yet.
I would say to anybody, in Turkey specifically, or generally anywhere, to use the technology to facilitate a successful use case. As I mentioned earlier, crypto people build crypto products for crypto users. That's a very limited market. That's a very limited kind of group of people that you're trying to address. The purpose of this technology is to unlock value in Turkey, particularly whether it's payments, peer-to-peer, or B2B or B2C. Look at problems that exist and build technology and solutions that utilize blockchain as a facilitator of that. Blockchain is not the highlight. It's the background that allows you to build something new, something different, something innovative that hasn't been able to be built before.
Turkey has a lot of potential because it's natural to choose a way in crypto. If we can support these people, there are a lot of young people who are motivated or have a high chance to pivot in crypto. that means Ethereum or any blockchain companies have so much potential to extract from Turkey.
There is a potential for a really strong developer community to appear, like something that's even much stronger than what we've seen so far. And I think a huge amount of potential for development. Obviously, already a very large amount of usage. Still a way to go in terms of like getting inroads for actually decentralized things and not people just interacting with crypto through like centralized exchange wallets. But that's a challenge everywhere, and that's like fair because the blockchains have definitely not been scalable enough or usable enough, and that's something that the space just needs to improve on.
Turkey presents a compelling case, a nation grappling with economic challenges, yet finding resilience through cryptocurrency. Its robust population, strategic location, and increasing tech adoption paints a picture of potential. However, the complexities of its economic climate and legislative landscape raise questions about the sustainability of this crypto boom, particularly if the government rushes into hasty regulation attempts again. Now that the ruling party know they can't get away with a my way or the highway approach to regulating crypto, a collaborative effort between public and private sector may be the only way to introduce clear frameworks which damage neither the crypto community nor the country's capital outflow problem. Beyond needing to circumvent shoddy legislation, another issue we found is the inconsistency between adoption reports. KuCoin says 52%, while Binance argues 40%. Paribu's more recent and more comprehensive report found that a whopping 99% of Turks are aware of crypto. While we can't know what the exact numbers are, both interest and adoption are growing, and clear legislation to protect consumers seems more important than ever before. Our journey through Istanbul has been fun, informative, and inspiring. From the front lines of major crypto events to the streets where the digital meets the traditional, we've uncovered the layers that define Turkey's place in the blockchain world. So as we wrap up our time here, we're left in anticipation for the future, and not just for Turkey, but for the global narrative around crypto adoption.
I hope 2024 will be quite different now that we had all these events. I'm really looking forward to have Istanbul as some sort of cryptocurrency hub. There is a saying by Napoleon, let me just change it a little bit. If crypto was just one country, Istanbul would be its capital. So, this is what we're looking forward to.
So where do you think the next chapter of adoption will unfold, and what will the driving forces be? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and until next time, stay defiant.